On the stones here, there's Greek writing, and this is the remains of what was a Greek Orthodox church in the 6th century. And so all of their liturgy was in Greek, whereas in Rome, of course, the liturgy was all in Latin. And we are just looking over the remains of this enormous structure, which is in Philadelphia. Now, it's interesting we'd find this here, because we found Sardis to be kind of a small little town. Philadelphia is a large city, big bustling city, and there aren't very many ruins. This is really all that's here is this. So the mystery is, why aren't there any ruins? And the answer to that mystery is the fact that the city was never destroyed. This is still the continuous site of the original city of Philadelphia. So when structures broke down, they just simply built new structures in the same site. And the old ruins would be underground, but there's modern buildings all around us. In the Church Ages book, we learned that this city, Philadelphia, had the longest duration of the 7 cities of Revelation. That's on page 287. In fact, the city still exists today under the Turkish name of Alaşehir, or City of God. It's interesting that this city is commended in the scripture for its patience. There's many centuries when conquerors were coming through and taking over, and whenever a conqueror in ancient times took over, then the god of the conqueror became the god of the city. But for a long time, Philadelphia remained a Christian city, patient through many centuries. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And as far as from a Christian perspective, through history, the Christian religion fared better in Philadelphia than many places. It was second to Constantinople in the longest city before falling to the Turks. And even then, Philadelphia didn't fall. They simply resigned when they were outnumbered. But they went a long time holding the Christian testimony, many, many centuries. To me, and we're just observing these things for the first time, but that makes sense due to the fact that nothing bad was said to the Church of Philadelphia. Everything told to this church was positive. They had a good testimony. And history bears that out. We traveled from Sardis to Philadelphia, and the road goes through a broad valley. It took about an hour, a little bit less to drive it. And we've been told that that was the ancient Roman postal road. It was a very commonly traveled thoroughfare back in the old days. And Philadelphia, we were told, was established for the purpose of spreading Hellenism, which is Greek ideas, to areas farther out that hadn't yet been reached, that were still Asian or still had their unique cultural manners about them. So even in the natural, the city of Philadelphia was established as a missionary city. It was established to spread what the government thought would be spread. In the Bible we find that it is the city of the open door. And in the age that it represents, it is the great missionary age, when the gospel went out to many places in the world where it had never before gone. So in this case, the Lord chose a city that already had that tendency in the natural to represent an age in the future when the gospel would go out around the world from a city that had proven itself faithful, and the church in this city that had proven itself faithful. So in a sense, the lack of ruins here are a testimony to the positive. This church here it was called the Church of St. John. And that's interesting because we know that it was St. John that wrote the letters that went to the 7 churches.